So the ICE director, the acting ICE director, Todd Lyons, yesterday broke news by saying, if you look at the numbers of the illegals that were arrested last year, fiscal year 2024, under Joe Biden, that they were counting those numbers as arrests, but then letting them back out into our country. The majority of them. Exactly. We caught you. We arrested you. They call it a pass-through arrest. The majority of the overall arrests made in fiscal year 2024, 113,431 arrests, were all pass-through arrests. And under Trump, out of all the ones that he has arrested this year so far, are not pass-through arrests. They're arresting them, and then they're locking them up, and they're working on deporting them. So, and Trump's actually on pace so far this year to have more arrests than Joe Biden did last year.
Yeah, we could surpass it. Here's the thing. You know, the Biden administration said, we're arresting a lot of people. They weren't arresting anybody. These were people who were just coming in the normal process. Okay, I'm surrendering. Okay, fine. You're going to go right into the interior of the United States. So it's just, they were cooking the books. That's what Todd Lyons said. Here's his quote. He said, we have uncovered that the previous administration was cooking the books on ICE data. They were purposely misleading the American people by categorizing individuals processed and released into the United States, we've been talking about that for years, as arrests. They weren't arrests. We found tens of thousands of cases that were recorded as arrests when, in fact, these instances were illegal aliens that were simply processed and released into the American communities. These were numbers that ICE came up to try to make Joe Biden look good. And now that it's been revealed, it makes Joe Biden look bad.
So what are the real numbers? We don't even know the real numbers.
We don't know the real.
Yeah. And then letting them go.
Subtract those.
Well, I mean, between the auto pen and between these numbers, we're going to find out a lot that wasn't really done under Joe Biden. And just think about if you did pass what Senator Langford put forward I guess you would say, immigration reform to a degree before the election. The main thing was, no one thought that Joe Biden would enforce anything that was passed, let alone the bill as it looked. It turns out, as the president said, we just needed a new president. The numbers are stunning so far, what Tom Homan has done. And then yesterday, when he went up to Albany to meet with the Republican delegation to let them know, I'm looking to do some massive ICE arrests in New York, and we're going to have to probably bypass the governor. What you're seeing now is some of the different arrests, like earlier this week in Houston, 560-plus felons were picked up here illegally who have committed a crime and previously have been allowed to stay. The one area, there's many areas where the president's had success, but the one where it's just undeniable is here.
So Todd is a career guy. He's been doing this under Republicans as well as Democrats. He knows how the numbers are supposed to be counted. If you talk to anyone that has covered the border before, if you talk to Bill Malugin, Griff Jenkins, people that are there, we've had sources for years now under the Biden administration to tell us these numbers aren't accurate. But we never had any proof to go on record to say, okay, these numbers aren't false. But a lot of agents kept saying, look, the stuff that they're putting out there, we conducted arrests. We arrest these people. We're not grabbing these folks. But we saw what they did was they did essentially what they did with the CBP app is they found a way around the system. They were fudging the numbers with the CBP app as well because people were surrendering and they were saying the apprehensions at the border were down because people just turned themselves in. But the crossings were still crossings, but they didn't count those numbers toward them when they used the app. They did the same thing when it came down to the arrest as well. And we didn't need really this report to justify because we see the 10 million people that are in the country right now. We know the ICE guys are essentially out of gas right now because they're having to do these massive arrests every single day. We didn't see that under Joe Biden, yet they're trying to claim that the numbers were the same. Well, now we got a guy that's telling us the truth.
They were lying. They're fudging the numbers.
Of course.
Well, they were using kind of weasel words.
That's right.
Legalese, where they would say, okay, it was a pass-through arrest. The average person on the street, what the hell's a pass-through arrest? It's not where the ICE guys knock on a door and make an arrest. It's just, okay, somebody surrenders in El Paso, and they go, okay, go that way. That's a pass-through arrest.
Essentially, we're counting someone being detained for a period of time as an arrest.
2 minutes.
And detainment is not an arrest.
Right. Catch and release. And that app has been changed. So if you just apply in another country, you apply, you in your app to here, and all of a sudden you get a little notification that says you can come. And when you come, you could say, okay, we're going to process you. And you go into the system. And that's how we got 10 million people here that are still, and their status is up.
And now the app is CBP Home, where you can go back on that app and you self-deport yourself. Okay, when do I want to go home? Because if you don't do that and you get caught and deported, you never, ever get to come back.